Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream watch along on the Dibbly-Dobbly podcast. We're back for another live stream and we're back for the Ashes. Day one of this first Ashes test from Edgbaston has been an interesting first day. And it's been an exciting start to this Ashes series. England playing their own version of test match cricket, sort of like in a T20 sort of way with Bazball. The Australians handling it okay at this stage. It wasn't a most dominant session by England, but at least 2 down for 120 odd, or 3 down for 120 odd, I should say. I think Australia would take that. At lunch on day one after losing the toss on a very flat surface, which hasn't really done much. So thanks everyone for joining us, and we're going to be in for another exciting second session approaching, and England 3 down for 100 odd, 120 odd at lunch. Australia would take that after losing the toss on what has been a very flat surface. Hasn't really done much, the ball, and for Australia, 3 wickets at lunch is not a bad result for them. So we're not far away from the second session resuming. And Edgbaston, the crowd filling in. Always a very jovial atmosphere at Edgbaston. And an interesting start to this Ashes series. But first of all, happy Ashes Day, everyone. Always like Christmas Day, isn't it, for the first day of an Ashes series? So happy Ashes Day, and I hope everyone has enjoyed what has been a very interesting first session. And the question was, going into the series, how will Australia handle Bazball? Well, we've already had an answer to that question in this first session. After England won the toss, chose to bat first, which was quite a surprise. I was expecting Ben Stokes to bowl first. He usually says we're going to have a chase. But not today for Ben Stokes. He said we're going to have a bat first, put runs on the board, and 3 down for 124. Australia would take that. Could have been a lot worse. And England probably a little bit disappointed that they didn't score many runs than they did. Under the new Stokes-McCullum sort of era with Bazball. So at lunch, England 3 down for 124. Australia will be pretty happy to take the 3 wickets. Could have been a lot worse, as I mentioned before. So they'll be going over their plans at lunch and hoping that they can get a few more breakthroughs after the break. So that's where we are. We'll have a bit of a summary of what happened in that first session. And runs were scored, wickets were taken when needed. And the wickets to fall, Ben Duckett, he went out. He was out first. He was gone for 12. He was caught by Carey, bowled by Hazelwood for 12. And he was the first wicket to fall. Then Ollie Pope, he was out LBW to Lyon. And then Zach Crawley for 61 just before the lunch break. He was out, caught behind by Carey off the glove, which the ball flicked his thumb, overturned on review. Scott Boland got his first wicket. And that's where we are at lunch. So that's pretty much what happened in that first session. And Australia will be looking to get back to a consistent plan after lunch, because it was sort of all over the place after the initial start with runs going everywhere, and Australia coming up against this new mentality of England's. They looked a little bit rattled and leaked easy runs and singles. But they've got an opportunity to turn that around after lunch. But a very good situation for Australia to get those 3 wickets, and needed to break that partnership of Pope and Crawley, which was scoring at a rapid rate, and needed to get rid of Crawley, which they did. Thanks for joining us, everyone, as we get ready for this second session. John, thanks for joining us, John. You say, what did the 12th man say? The fingers up, the umpire's Hugh Cass. Still cracks me up. Yes, the 12th man, Billy Burnham. Let me tell you a story about walking power, as he used to say in his tapes. Jihan, thanks for joining us. You say, I remember England getting 407 on day one, smashing Australia everywhere in 2005. Brett Lee and Jason Gillespie took the worst pounding. Yes, that famous test match where England won by 2 runs in 2005 after Ricky Ponting chose to bowl first. And it's a decision that still haunts him to this day, Ricky Ponting. Not a good decision to make, but it was a very good test match in the end. And, England just getting over the line and winning that test match in 2005. And the first test match of this series is here at Edgbaston in 2023. Yes, say Jihan, but Australia still bowled them out, took 10 wickets. Well, yes, it's a very flat pitch here at Edgbaston. Not what you typically see in England, especially during an Ashes test match. You usually see a little bit of grass and a bit of assistance for the bowlers, but not on this occasion because Ben Stokes wants flatter, quicker wickets, and he wants that to aid England in terms of their run scoring. But in reality, that could disadvantage England's bowlers, really, because they don't really do well on flat, benign surfaces, as this surface is a pretty good surface for batting, as judging by the runs that have been scored thus far by England's batters. Obviously, it will help England in terms of their run scoring, but it won't help their bowlers. Anderson, Broad, Robinson, very similar. They rely on seam, swing to get their wickets. Moeen Ali back into the side after 2 years of retirement, coming back in for Jack Leach. This pitch may take a bit of turn with the dryness of the surface. Nathan Lyon will be hoping to get a few more wickets as this match progresses because he had a pretty good test match in 2019. He took 6 wickets in the second innings, bowled Australia victory in that test match where Australia won by a big margin in the first test of the 2019 series. And obviously England didn't elect to play Mark Wood in this test with that point of difference with the pace. So it'll be interesting to see how England bowl on this surface. Not really effective on flat wickets as we saw in Australia over the many years they've come down here. John, you say, what do you think of the pitch and Stokes telling the curators what he wants, nullifying the swing, Broad and Anderson, you beat me to it. That's exactly right, John. He wants flasher wickets because he wants runs scored at a rapid rate. Bazball's all about going at 1,000,000 miles per hour. But to win an Ashes series, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And it does take a lot out of you if you play this way of cricket over 5 test matches. And England haven't played Bazball for over 5 test matches. They've only played it for 3 or 2 test matches, or, over their time. So they haven't done it for 5 test matches back to back to back. It's definitely going to disadvantage their bowlers. Anderson and Broad rely on, assistance off the pitch. So it's definitely going to go into Australia's favour. The Australian batters, if you ask the Australian batters, what would you like to play on and bat on? We would like to bat on a surface like this here at Edgbaston today. Not much grass, a straw colour, not a single blade of green grass on the pitch whatsoever. Nice and sunny. It's ideal conditions to bat in. So the Australian batters will be absolutely licking their lips and saying, we don't have to face Anderson and Broad under those extreme conditions. So it will disadvantage England. Their bowlers are not really effective on wickets that don't really offer much. And I don't know why you will go against that strength, but they've done it because they want to nullify Australia's attack. So if they have wickets that have a bit in them, that will obviously help Australia's bowlers as well. And they want to play Bazball and they want to have that freedom. So that's why they've gone down this route. I do hope personally that we don't have a series where it's just heavily runs scored everywhere. We want to see wickets as well. We just don't want to see flat roads, that's all. So that's the concern that I have. going in for the remainder of the series, if this is how the series and how the pitches are going to be prepared, then I think we're in for some very high-scoring matches and probably, less wicket-taking opportunities probably. But anyway, that's up to England. That every home side in world cricket does that. They always ask for the pitch they want. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about that, England, in this series. But that's definitely the mentality they've employed in this series thus far. So that's what they wanted. They've got that wish. I'm not sure about the boundary sizes because I don't think the boundaries are brought in here at Edgbaston. They're pretty much the same as always here. So they haven't got that wish, but they've definitely got the pitch that they wanted, a surface that's looking pretty good. Ball's coming onto the bat, nothing out of the ordinary. Bit dry, sun out, baking this surface. So as the Australian team make their way out to the middle, as we're about to begin the second session. And it will be Joe Root and Harry Brook who will arrive at the crease. He's in there because of Zach Crawley's dismissal just before the lunch break. So Scott Boland's got 2 deliveries left of his over before he finishes his over. Jihan, you say overheads make the flattest pitches in England look like minefields, though, in all my experience watching test matches in England. Yes. As the crowd make their way into the grandstands here at Edgbaston, quite a very healthy day one crowd of an Ashes series. And that's to be expected, of course. You're going to get big crowds for Ashes series over the years, as Pat Cummins will be very happy to take 3 wickets in this first session. Harry Brook. Now, he made some interesting comments about Nathan Lyon, Harry Brook. Well, he may have to face him next over. Wanting to go down the pitch to him. But I think Harry Brook, it's one thing to say that in the media, but you've got to back it up. He's a young player in his early 20s, good start to his test career. But he made those remarks in the press conference in the lead up to this first test. John says, good decision not to play Stark. I suggest no hoop, line and length should be the key. For we bowled a little too much on the pads. England has killed the short ball. No value there. Bowling in to Harry Brook, who works it through point for a single. He's off the mark. Harry Brook off the mark. And first runs for England in this second session. The last wicket to fall was Zach Crawley. The umpire didn't give it out. Murray Erasmus said not out. The Australians were convinced there was a noise. They reviewed it. It flicked the thumb. And he was adjudged out, caught behind. As Boland's in now to Root, who drives to Cummins at mid-off for no run. It's the end of the over. It's 3 for 125. Scott Boland has done pretty well again, Scott Boland. And Cummins having a talk to Murray Erasmus about something. And Pat Cummins, be an interesting sort of series from him, his point of view in terms of captain, how he go about leading the side. As Harry Brook going to face up to Nathan Lyon. Now, as I said before, he made those remarks in the press conference, Harry Brook. He said, I'm going to take down Nathan Lyon. Well, here's your chance, Harry Brook, because Nathan Lyon's on to bowl, and he could have the last laugh, Nathan Lyon. He's a very quality spinner. He's already taken 1 wicket. That was Ollie Pope. He was out, LBW. And Nathan Lyon just gets better and better. He's in now, around the wicket to Brook, the right-hander. Brook defends on the front foot. There's no run. Nathan Lyon starting with that angle around the wicket, right arm around the wicket, looking to try and create that angle. Just like with the Pope dismissal, get one to slide on, trap him on the pads for an LBW. which he did to Ollie Pope in that first session. Line into Brook. This one on leg stump. Brook works it for square leg, and the fielder at deep square leg would cut it off for the single. Harry Brook. Couple of balls to Nathan Lyon. Hasn't really advanced down the wicket to him. One thing to say that in the media, but you've got to back it up on the field. So it'll be interesting, this Lyon-Harry Brook battle after those remarks he made before this test match started, as Joe Root is on strike now. He's already on 20 or 34, Joe Root. Lyon now to Root, who reverse sweeps, hits him on the pads. There's an appeal for LBW. Nathan Lyon's convinced. Azan Razan, the umpire, is unmoved. Clicks over his counter. He says not out. He went for the reverse sweep there, Joe Root. Hit him on the pads. An appeal for LBW. But the Australians have decided not to go upstairs. That probably pitched outside leg by the looks of that. Let's have a look on the replay. Went for the reverse sweep. Where did it pitch? Yeah, outside leg stump. Nathan Lyon asking Azan Razan, but Azan Razan was correct. That was outside leg. Lyon into Root. Root defends to mid-wicket. There's no run. So Joe Root already playing that reverse sweep. Nathan Lyon, if he just gets his line a bit better, and he probably will get him out again, LBW, if he plays that shot again. Anyway, Lyon into Root, who works it on the leg side, off the leg stump. And Travis Head, he's been busy in the outfield. Cuts that off for another single for England. So 3 runs for England after lunch. It's been a slow start in terms of the Bazball mentality, a slow start by their standards. As Harry Brook is on strike now. Marnus Labuschagne underneath the helmet. He's around the corner at a leg slip almost, or just behind square. That line into Brook, who defends the last ball for a dot ball. It's into the over. It's 3 for 127. Nathan Lyon. Finishes his over very well. Just a dot ball to end the over there. But Australia will be very delighted with those 3 wickets and the wicket of Crawley just before lunch, just to slow the momentum down a bit with the run scoring. G. Hunt says Stark would have been cannon fodder today. He did leak some runs in the World Test Championship final, Stark, so I can understand why Australia went with Josh Hazlewood, that line and length control. And also with Scott Boland, then you have Cummins and Lyon. So it's still a pretty good attack. Mitchell Stark 4 years ago didn't play the test match in 2019 here at Edgbaston. Played in the Old Trafford test, which was the 4th test of the series. So, but definitely Mitchell Stark will have a role to play in this series. Australia will definitely rotate their bowlers. G. Hunt says, I'll have a square leg in close and a deep backward square on the boundary and encourage the odd bouncer. Yep. Australia have had a few fielders out trying to save the boundary, but also easy singles have been leaked as well, as Scott Boland's in now to Root, who leaves this delivery outside off stump. Scott Boland, just before lunch, getting the big wicket of Zach Crawley for 61. He looked pretty good, Zach Crawley, but that's the thing with Zach Crawley. Looks good and then gets out. And that's why a lot of people have been frustrated with Crawley in this England side. Looks good and then gets out. Plays some good shots, gets out. Excuse me. As Scott Boland's ready to bowl his second ball. He's up now to Root, and Root just dabs it behind square. Down to that deep backward point, which I think he should be up, that deep backward point. Keep Joe Root on strike. He scores many runs in that backward point region, Root. Bring up the deep backward point so you can cut off that scoring opportunity and keep him on strike, because it's just an easy single. Build the pressure on Root. He's the key wicket, as always. But anyway, that allows Scott Boland to have a crack at Harry Brook His numbers are pretty good in his Test career thus far. As Boland's in now to Brook, who defends on the front foot. Out to cover, and there's no run. Harry Brook, as I mentioned before, good numbers at the start of his career. He's averaging well over 80. He's got 4 centuries in his 7 or so games he's played thus far. But I think those numbers may change a bit in this series. They're either going to go up or down, depending on how he goes. But he's an exciting player nonetheless. Played some good innings in Pakistan. As Scott Boland in again now to Brook. This one, a drop and run onto the offside from Brook, gets off strike with a single. That's the thing with Australia. Hunt in for the singles, cut the easy singles off. Don't want Brook to be rotating the strike easily like that. That's the thing for Australia. Dot balls, building pressure. Already around about 20-odd overs into this Test match, there hasn't been a maiden bowled. So it just shows you the proactivity that England are employing with baseball. It's vitally important for Australia to build pressure with dots and make sure you hunt in for those easy singles and cut them off. Don't want to give too many runs away. Anyway, bowling in now to Root. And Root works this ball to Marnus Labuschagne a point for no run. Joe Root, very exceptional record. 11,000 Test runs, averaging tick over 50. He'll definitely go past Sir Alistair Cook's record of 12,000 runs. Become England's leading run scorer in Test cricket. He's done pretty well over the years, Joe Root. But definitely a big wicket for Australia in this series. I feel like to get rid of Root here, get a new batter in. As Boland's in now to Root. This one beats him. Past his edge. Past the inside edge, I believe. And there's no run. It's the end of the over. Good delivery from Scott Boland to finish up his over. Always has a knack of bowling those good deliveries, Scott Boland. John says you have to talk the talk before you walk the walk. Brook and Line. Yes, you do. There's a thing. There's one thing saying it, but you have to back it up. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes with that battle with Lyon and Brook today. Jihan says that LBW, that Nathan Lyon got to Joe Root, the appeal there, pitched outside leg. Yes, it did. Nathan Lyon to continue to the young, exciting batter and Harry Brook. So Lyon in now to Brook. Brook advances down the wicket. And he'll get a boundary on that cover region for 4. Well, Harry Brook, he said in the media, I'm going to advance Nathan Lyon. I'm going to take him downtown. And already first ball of this over, good use of the feet. He got down to the pitch of the ball. And he hit that nicely through that cover region for 4 runs. So the battle is on now. Nathan Lyon, will he have the last laugh? He's a wily spinner, Nathan Lyon. Quality, as always. He's in now to Brook. This one, Brook defends off the back foot onto the leg side, and there's no run. Good use of the feet from Brook. So he did back up his statement that he was going to charge Nathan Lyon, and he did. But will Nathan Lyon have the last laugh in this over? He's in now to Brook. This one, outside edge, just past Steve Smith at slip. They'll come back for 2. Oh, that was close. Very close indeed. Harry Brook. As we have a look at the replay here, just backing away onto the leg side. Got it past Steve Smith at slip. Nearly got a hand to it. Would have been a very good catch if he got there. Oh, so Brook creating some opportunities for Nathan Lyon. This one, Brook works through square leg for a single. He moves on to 10 off 10. Roots on 22. Jihan, you say, do you think Australia should make the sole decision maker for DRS? I guess with DRS, it comes down to your wicketkeeper, bowler, and captain. I think those three should be your main decision makers when it comes to DRS. This one worked a backward point from Root as a single. So basically, Pat Cummins, Alex Carey, and the bowler, those should be the three that should always make the decision when it comes to DRS. Because really, they're in the best positions and they can definitely judge whether or not they should go upstairs for a review or not. Line in now to Brook, this one on the leg stump. And Brook gets his bat out of the way of this, hits him on the leg, trickles out behind square on the leg side. They come through for a run, for a leg bite. It's the end of the over. So to answer your question there, Jihan, I think it should come down to Pat Cummins, the captain, Alex Carey, the keeper, and your bowler. I think those should be the three making the decisions for DRS. And as you say here, should make Marnus the sole decision maker. Well, Marnus thinks everything's out. We saw that in the WTC final. Asked Pat Cummins to go upstairs for a review for a caught behind off Virat Kohli, and he missed it by miles. So I don't think Marnus is a good option there because he thinks everything's out. He's excited, Marnus. He always gets excited for an opportunity to get a wicket or so. But not a good idea to make Marnus the decision maker. As Scott Boland now to Brook. And Brook advances to Boland, hits it straight to Cummins at mid-off for no run. So Harry Brook has made his intentions clear. He's going to use his feet to Scott Boland. Probably sort of play him like a spinner. And that's what he's done there. He didn't quite time that, Brook. Scott Boland, will he have the last laugh? That was the big question. How would Scott Boland go against the England batters? How will Australia go against Bazball? All those questions are being answered today. Boland in now to Brook, who defends onto the leg side, and there's no run. He's 10 off 13. Root's 23 off 42. Alex Carey took a very good catch. A couple of dismissals for him today. Kept well in the WTC final as well, Carey. And got confidence with the bat as well. Scored runs in last week's WTC final. Got 48 and 66 not out in both innings. So his confidence is high. As Boland's in now to Brook. And Brook works it through that backward point region for a single. That's the thing for Australia. Important for Australia here, just to cut off those easy singles, not allow Brook to get off strike that easily. Want to keep him on strike for as long as you can. So Scott Boland has an opportunity to get as many deliveries to him as possible. Edgbaston covered in the sun, I should say, beaming down on Edgbaston. Not a cloud in the sky. No rain around, which is good for the next 5 days. So Australia have got those boundary riders. They've got the fine leg. They've got the deep square leg. They've got a deep backward point, protecting the boundaries behind the wicket. For Scott Boland, who's in now to Root. And this one, Root gets it past Cameron Green in the gully. He'll pick up at least two. He'll come back for the second. So good running again from Joe Root. Cameron Green, always good in the gully. You saw him take some very good catches in the WTC final. That happened last week. Very good fielder, Cameron Green. Always saves a lot of runs in those in that gully position. Bowling into Root. This one, Root works it down to third man for a single. And Root moves on to 26. John says, Marnus is fielding at an odd position. Jihan says, you reckon if Steve Waugh was captain here, he would have had 8 slips and a gully? He probably would. He was an attacking captain, Steve Waugh. Bowling into Brook. This one outside off stump. Brook works it through the covers. The sweeper out there. Travis said we'll cut it off for 2. It's the end of the over. It's 3 for 144. 3 for 144. So England going about their business here after lunch. Australia looking to get a couple of more wickets here. John says, how be most effective on days 4 and 5, Moeen or Nathan Lyon? I think that's an obvious answer there, John. I think Nathan Lyon will be more effective. That is the weak link for England, with Jack Leach going down. Moeen Ali coming back out of retirement. His record against Australia is not that great. He's averaging 60 with the ball. As Lyon's in now to Root. Root works it through the offside for a single. So to answer your question there, John, I think Nathan Lyon will be more effective than Moeen Ali, I think. Jihan says, where's Gabe? No chance to see him celebrating the WTC Championship. I told him after the 2022 T20 World Cup, continue to support Australia. They'll give you a lot of joy. Yes. No doubt Gabe will be happy about Australia winning the WTC final, of course. I don't think Nick will be too happy, Jihan, because he supports India, of course, and he will be disappointed in their performance. But Gabe will be over the moon with Australia winning. It was a great win by the Australian team. As Harry Brook defended that to the offside, and there's no run on that previous ball. Lyon in again now to Brook. Brook advances down the wicket. Pat Cummins does well at mid-off, cuts it off for a single. So he used the feet there, Brook. This time, only picked up 1. 3 for 146. So Australia have done okay to keep England 3 down for 146. Could have been a lot worse. Many sides have struggled at this stage of the innings when bowling to England. England would have been 200 by now, maybe 250. But Australia have done well coming up against this England side with this new positive mentality, this new mantra. Line in now to Root. That one's on leg stump. Root just lets it go, hits him on the pad. Marnus Labuschagne, that short leg, does the fielding, and there's no run. So Nathan Lyon in again now to Root. And Root works it onto the leg side. Doesn't get it past the fielder at square leg, and there's no run. Good crowd in, as always, for an Ashes series. Hello, David. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. You also say, David, let's see what kind of partnership Brook and Root can build up here. Line in now to Root. This one a reverse sweep. Josh Hazlewood does the fielding from third man out to deep point. And they'll cut it off for 2. End of the over, 3 for 148. So England won the toss, but chose to bat first, which has gone against Ben Stokes in terms of Bazball. Obviously, usually Ben Stokes likes to bowl first rather than batting first, but they've decided to bat first today. Runs on the board, that's understandable. Scott Boland continuing. 32 overs have been bowled already. Scott Boland's into his 10th over now. He's going to be bowling to Brook. He's in now bowling to Brook, who works this down to third man. He'll pick up a couple of runs. Good running from Brook. He moves on to 18. Root's on 29. 3 for 152. The 150s come up for England. Jihan, you say Cameron Green hasn't bowled yet. No, he hasn't. He may get a bowl. Hasn't had a bowl yet, Cameron Green. He should. A lot of people were talking about his bowling in this series and how effective he will be. So it'll be interesting to see when he does come into the attack. Bowling in now to Brook, who works it down to third man again for another single. Or will it be a boundary? No, it won't. Good fielding there from Travis Head. He'll cut it off for 2. I think we're going to have a check of that. Let's have a look. We'll see if Travis Head... Well, Travis Head did well to cut that off. Did he touch the rope? Nope, that's good. Did a pretty good job there, Travis Head. That's fine. Yeah, that's good. 2 runs. Travis Head saved a couple of runs there with that save on the boundary. Brook now on 20, Root on 29. Scott Boland. England 3 for 154. 32 overs into the 33rd. Over here, bowling in now to Brook. Brook advances, hits him over mid-off for 4. Well, that was the question, wasn't it? How will the England bowlers go about facing Scott Boland? Will they use their feet? And what we saw there from Harry Brook, the answer to that is yes. Harry Brook trying to put Scott Boland off his line and length. He used his feet, advanced down the wicket, hit that nicely. So he is very dangerous, Harry Brook. Australia will have to get him out sooner than later. He's had a pretty good start to his career. But Scott Boland shouldn't be put off by that. At least he's playing shots. He'll create some opportunities. Bowling in now. This one a short ball. And Brook's got a top edge, just short of Travis Head out there at third man. He came in for the catch. I think it just bounced in front of him. They come through for a single. Hands on heads from the Australian fielders. Nearly an opportunity there. He banged it in a bit shorter here, Scott Boland. And then Brook tried to go for the uppercut or something like that. Got a top edge. Third man down there, Travis Head. Did he get there? Did it bounce in front of him? Oh, he did get there. He dropped it. Travis Head dropped it. For a moment there, I thought it just bounced in front of him. It didn't. It carried. Travis Head putting down the catch at third man. Well, that's the first drop catch today for Australia. Now this one down the leg side from Boland. Root. No contact with bat there. Through to the keeper. Travis Head down there at third man. He got there. He had the ball in his hands, and as soon as he hit the ground, he couldn't cushion the blow. And he couldn't keep the ball in his hands. And that deep backward point region, well, he made good ground, Travis Head, but he didn't execute the catch. Australia can't afford to drop catches like that. We saw that in the WTC final. They've got to take everything against this England side. Wickets at a premium. Bowling in to Root. This one an outside edge, just short of Cameron Green. So a good over from Scott Boland in the end. It's 3 for 159. Three for 159 for England. 33 overs have been bowled. And some chances being created by Australia. Drop catch there from Cameron Green. Cameron Green nearly had a catching opportunity in that last ball from Boland, but it just bounced. But the one from Travis Head at deep backward point, he got there in the hands. He couldn't hold on to it. And Australia got to take those chances. Can't afford to drop those chances there. As Nathan Lyon continues. Anyway, for Travis Head, forget about that drop catch. Try and catch the next one. That's the important thing when you drop the catch. Try and think about catching the next one. Put that one behind you. Line in now to Brook. This one defended by Brook off the back foot. There's no run. John, you say interesting pitch, but I believe England is in a bit of a heat wave with some bushfires there, here and there. Yes, it's been quite of a hot summer over there. So the pitches are going to be a lot drier than usual. Line into Brook. Punches this through the offside for no run. John says we really need to hold those chances. That's exactly right, John. And that's the key for Australia. They've got to hold on to their chances. You don't mean to drop a catch. No one does. They either stick or they don't sometimes. But for Travis Head, running in from deep backward point, made good ground. He just didn't execute the final part, which was the catch. The ball was in his hands, but as soon as he hit the ground, it's important to cushion the blow and make sure that the ball doesn't trickle out, but it did. Line in now to Brook. This one down the leg side. Brook gets his pad to it. They'll run through for a leg by, signaled by Azan Raza. Signals leg by. Brook, 25 of 25, run a ball. He should have been out just before in the last over by Travis Head. Should have caught that catch off the bowling of Scott Boland. England 3 for 160. Root on 29. He's on strike now to Lyon. He's in now to Root. Root advances down the wicket. This one on leg stump. Works it for a square leg for a single. Picks up one Root. Moves on to 30. The former England captain. Nathan Lyon, last ball of his 10th over. He's in now to Brook. This one defended by Brook on the front foot. End of the over, 3 for 161. Couple of runs in that last over off Nathan Lyon. Came into the attack quite early today. Pat Cummins trying something different, bowling him with the new ball, hoping to get a breakthrough. He already got one wicket. That was Ollie Pope, LBW. You say, John, 26 degrees in London. Beautiful spring day for us. Ideal temp to both bat and field. Yes. Don't really want to be in the field when it's quite hot. You want to be out there when it's nice and cool, which it is at the moment. England 3 for 161. Josh Hazlewood into the attack. Scott Boland out of the attack. Josh Hazlewood back into the Australian side for the first time since the Australian summer. He's back. He was preferred over Mitchell Starc. 7 overs, run rate of 3, not bad. So only Australia have got 2 slips, no gully. They've got some fielders out on the rope, trying to protect the boundaries. But you would have to say it's been a pretty good effort from Australia to keep England 3 down for 160 odd, given England's past history with Bazball. Hazlewood into Root. This one defended onto the leg side. That's no run. So it's not bad from Australia. They've been able to slow England down in some sort of capacity. England have scored some boundaries here and there, yes, but it hasn't been sort of a fast start, as England often do with Bazball. So they've definitely done well, Australia, to keep into 3 for 161 is not bad, given how England have gone about things in the past. So if they get a couple of wickets onto that, that's pretty good. Hazlewood in to Root. This one just extra bounce here from Hazlewood. Caught Root unawares, but he defends it. There's no run. So if Australia can add a couple of wickets to the score, 5 for 161, not bad. So they'll be hoping for that in this second session. A couple of wickets. They got 3 wickets in the first session. So a couple of wickets here. Get them 5 down for 160 odds, not bad. Always looking for an opportunity to take a wicket if you can. And Joe Root on strike. He's getting ready now to face Hazlewood, who's in now to Root. This one full and driven. Pass mid-off. Pat Cummins dived in front of it. Couldn't cut it off for 4 runs. Joe Root picks up a boundary. England 3 for 165 now. Pat Cummins coming around there at mid-off. Couldn't cut that off. Nearly got a hand to it, did he? No, just passed him as soon as he dived in front of it. 4 runs there for Joe Root. Hazelwood in now to Root. Root defends to the fielder at mid-wicket, David Warner. No run. Hazelwood, 131. Excuse me, into his 8th over. Back into the side. First time in a while for Hazelwood, coming back from injury. Didn't play in the WTC final. Played. The last test he played was in the Australian summer. Didn't play in India in that last test series for Australia in the subcontinent. So Hazelwood, first test match for him for a long time. Hazelwood in, this one full outside off stump. Root drives through that cover region. Cummins cuts it off. They'll pick up a couple of runs there. 3 for 166 England. Brooks on 25 of 26. Roots on 35 of 56. Couple of Australian captains commentating. Ricky Ponting, of course, with Mark Taylor. Couple of Australian captains, of course, who've captained many Ashes series. Mark Taylor, very successful as a captain, especially in Ashes cricket as well. Hazelwood in to Brook. Brook works it through point. Backward point. And he'll pick up a boundary. Travis Head couldn't cut that off there at deep backward point for 4. City the over, 3 for 170. Australia need a wicket. Cut off these easy runs that England have been producing. Did nicely there, Brook, just to glide that down to that deep backward point region. Travis Head did get the ball. He misfielded. Bit sloppy there from Travis Head. Could have done better. Just gave away an easy boundary. If he tidied that up a little bit with his fielding. The crowd certainly let him knew about that behind him, as they would. This partnership, 46 of 50. So Australia need to break this partnership. 46 off 50, that's not bad in terms of strike rate. And obviously with Bazball, of course, high strike rates. As Nathan Lyon in now to Root. This one down the leg side. Root works it through square leg for a single. But you wouldn't say this has been England's most fast, free-flowing sort of innings in Bazball. They've been scoring runs, they've been hitting the odd boundary here and there. But Australia have done well to keep him at a steady state, I suppose. As Lyons in now to Brook. Works it through the offside. He'll pick up a single at least. He's coming back for 2. He'll get 2. And they'll get 2 runs. England 3 for 173. Travis Head, the opportunity to get rid of Harry Brook. He dropped the catch. He had the catch, and then it spilt. Did well to run in and make some good ground there. Scott Boland would have got Harry Brook there if that catch was taken. Line in now to Brook. This one down the leg side. Brook tries to work it behind square. Playing a miss. Kerry, good take from him behind the stumps. No batter or glove on that, so. Line in now to Brook. This one on leg stump. Brook works it for a square leg. He's looking for 2, but he'll have to settle for a single. It's only 1. And that is the 50 partnership. 50 partnership for the 4th wicket. So Australia looking for their first wicket here. 50 partnership already brought up between Root and Harry Brook for the 4th wicket. Australia will be looking to break it if they can. Nathan Lyon will be hoping to do that. Now then, line into Root, who sweeps outside off stump. That was outside the line, so there was an appeal for LBW, but soon turned down quickly. Outside the line there. But Joe Root looking to play those sweeps. We've seen that today, the conventional and the reverse sweep. Line into Root, this one better. Lyon finishes his over with a dot ball to end the over. It's the end of the over, 3 for 174. 3 for 174 after 36 overs. It's been a steady pace from England, as we expect from them. But Australia have done okay in terms of just keeping England to a steady pace. We usually see England bash a little bit quicker, faster, extreme pace with Bazball. But at the moment, Australia have kept them at a reasonable pace, not really lightning fast. Josh Hazlewood to continue. It's already got a wicket. That was Ben Duckett. That was the first wicket of the day in the first session. He's in now to Brook, who drops some runs. He wanted a single there, Brook, but in the end there was no single. There's no run. John, you say, if we can break this partnership and they'll push to 250 plus, it gives Stokes and Bairstow a free hand. England will surely try to bat us out of the match. Well, I think that's definitely their plan with any side, John, to try and do that. But if Australia pick up a couple of wickets here, 5 down for 170 odd sounds a little bit better than 3 down. Hazlewood into Brook, defends, and there's no run. So that's definitely their mentality, England. But it hasn't been a lightning start from England in terms of the pace of the innings. It's been at a very steady pace that Australia's kept it to. And we usually see with other sides when they do come across this England side, we usually see England score at 1,000,000 miles an hour. But in this innings today, Australia have done well to keep it at a steady tempo throughout this innings. Yes, they have scored some runs, England, but Australia have done well to keep it at a steady tempo. Good fielding from Warner at square leg, and there's no run. But Australia will be hoping for a couple of wickets here. A couple of wickets will be ideal at this stage here. So Hazlewood. In now to Brook. And this one, Brook leaves outside off stump, through to the keeper. There's no run. Harry Brook. 32 of 34. This partnership 50 plus for England for the 4th wicket after the wicket of Crawley just before lunch. The direct hit, Aran, thanks for joining us. You say fast-paced Ashes. Well, I think everyone expected that. And so far, it's lived up to that expectation. Hazlewood in. This one full. Brook defends onto the offside for no run. One ball left. David, thanks for joining us. You say rather late in your neck of the woods, I presume. Yes, it's nearly 11 o'clock in the evening where I'm from in Australia. So it will definitely be a late finish, of course, around about 3 o'clock in the morning. The test match day will usually finish here where I'm from. Yes, to say, will you be staying up for the 3rd session? I will, as Brooke defends for the last ball of the over. There's no runs, the end of the over. It's 3 for 174. Yes, I would be, David. As always, whenever there's cricket on, obviously this being an Ashes series, of course I'll be staying up late for the 5 days, of course. Not really good on the body, especially over 5 test matches when you do that, but the things you do for cricket, hey? So, yes, I'll definitely be staying up. We may stream a little bit of the third session. Not all of it, but a little bit of it. So if you're wanting to join us for our stream, everyone's more than welcome to do that as we watch this first day, second session of this first Ashes test. England 3 for 174, and it was a maiden. One of the rare opportunities we're seeing in this test match where a maiden has been registered. Not very often that a bowling attack will bowl a maiden to this England side. As Lyons back into the attack, continuing, I should say. This one on leg stump, works it for a square leg route for a single, moves on to 37. Harry Brook on 32. Nice crowd at Edgbaston. Always a good crowd for an Ashes test at Edgbaston, as we've seen over the years. Yes, David, yes. The time zone where I'm from is the central part of Australia. So I'm not on the eastern states. Oh, he's out! He's out! He's gone! Brook is gone! That's gone back onto the stumps. He went to leave it. It bobbed up in the air and it hit his stumps and he's gone. Well, what a wicket for Australia. Harry Brook. It hit him on the body, hit him on the glove or something. I've got to have a look at the replay, but it's back onto the stumps and he's gone bowled. He's out bowled. Australia needed that wicket. It hit his leg, went back onto the stumps, hit his back, and then it went back onto the stumps. Oh, how unlucky can you get? Harry Brook was unlucky there. But Nathan Lyon will take it. It's a wicket. Harry Brook gone for 32 in the most unusual circumstances. Gone for 32. England pick up the wicket. Australia needed that. David, you say cricket standard time. I like that. Good one there, David. Yeah, cricket standard time. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be full on for the next 6 or 7 weeks. Yeah, David, you say, oh dear, big wicket for Australia. Yeah, it's very unlucky as Ben Stokes arrives to the crease, the talisman of this England batting lineup and this team. Unlucky. Well, you need a bit of luck in this game, but for Harry Brook on that occasion, he didn't have any luck. Just hit his leg, and then it went up in the air. As soon as it came back down, hit him on the back of his body, on his back leg, back onto the stumps. How unlucky can you get? But that's a big wicket for Australia. They've broken the partnership. It was 50 for the 5th wicket. They've broken it. And now Ben Stokes arrives at the crease. We all know what he did at Headingley. We all know what he can do. But it'll be interesting to see how he will go about this. He will always attack. He will not back down. But Australia needed that wicket. Nathan Lyon's got 2 of the 4 wickets to fall today. Scott Boland's got 1. Josh Hazlewood's got the other one. Aran from the direct hit. You say Stokes, Lyon, Ashes. I won't say more. Should be a good battle as Lyon's in now to Stokes. Stokes defends. It's no run. That's the wicket that Australia needed. Harry Brook back onto his stumps there. Very unlucky. One of the most unusual ways of getting out. Hello, Raj. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. As Lyon's in now to Stokes. This one defended again by Stokes on the back foot. It's no run. Well, Australia needed that wicket. Harry Brook and Joe Root will put it on a good partnership, 50 plus for the 4th wicket. But that wicket came out of nowhere. And England are 4 down for 175. So Australia picking up the wickets whenever they can. Well, now then, Lyon into Stokes. This one outside off stump. Stokes goes for the reverse sweep. Doesn't time it. It's no run. John says off the thigh pad to the back of the thigh onto his head or back. I'll take it. That should make CFA's most unusual wickets. It should. Line in. This one down the leg side to Stokes. He works it through the leg side for a single. He's off the mark, the England captain. But a very successful over for Nathan Lyon and for Australia. It's 4 for 176 after 38. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Day one of the Ashes, always an exciting period, that's for sure. In the cricketing calendar, everyone has had this day in the calendar marked. But going back to your comment there, John, yeah, absolutely. It will definitely make their list in terms of the most unusual wickets. But very unlucky for Brook, but Australia will take it. It's a wicket. As a bowler, you'll take it onto the thigh, and the ball collected the back. No, in the end, it missed everything. So it came off his thigh. As soon as it hit the pitch, it just bounced into the stumps. And Harry Brook has a raw smile on his face on the replay. He says, how did I get out like that? Josh Hazlewood in again to Stokes. This one left by Stokes outside off stump. But going back to your comment there, John, absolutely, it will definitely make his CFA's most unusual wickets list, because you don't see that every day. You know, you just thought that ball's going to miss the stumps, but it came back, hit the stumps, and he was out bowled. Aran, you say, as good as smashing the bat into your stumps, unlucky chap. Yep, unlucky for Harry Brook, as Hazlewood's into Stokes. This one outside off stump again, left by Stokes. Good bowling from Hazlewood. Keeping the pressure on the England captain. Aran, you say thoughts on Ashwin's exclusion in the WTC final? Yeah, it was very, a very interesting decision that they made there. He's one of your best bowlers, and you leave him out for the WTC final. Obviously, in India, with the conditions, of course, they wanted to play 4 seamers. But he's one of your best bowlers, and he would have made an impact. But would have that made the difference of India winning the WTC? Probably not. I think Australia were the better side, as Stokes defends on the offside and there's no run. It would have made a little bit of difference in hindsight, but I think Australia still would have won anyway if Ashwin was in. But, that was India's decision, Iran. They made that decision. They decided to leave him out because of conditions, and it probably wasn't the best decision that they would have made. But, at the end of the day, India didn't play well, and they pretty much lost the test match on day one with that partnership between Smith and Head, really. Took the game away. Hazlewood in. Stokes flash. He's gone. Outside edge. He's gone. Stokes has flashed at it. He's got the edge. He's out. Marais Erasmus raised his finger. Stokes said, Root, do you think that was out? Should I review it? He has reviewed it, but Australia were confident in terms of that outside edge. He flashed at it outside the off stump. He was good bowling from Hazlewood. Round about that off stump line. Ben Stokes left the first few balls. Then this one, he saw it outside, full. I'm going to have a flash at it. Australia were convinced. Marais Erasmus raised the finger of doom. Hazlewood was convinced that he smashed the cover off it. Let's see. The third umpire will have the final say. Ben Stokes. Well, he was asking Joe Root, did you hear anything? I didn't hear anything, but did you hear anything? Australia were confident. They went upstairs. Let's have a look. Ultra Edge. What does that say? Oh, yes, he's gone. There's an edge. There's a spike on Ultra Edge. The ball next to the bat. Stokes has to go. Murray Erasmus will stay with his decision of out. He raises his finger to confirm that. The England captain gone. England 5 for 176. Australia have taken 2 wickets in this second session. Stokes, the aggressive mindset has backfired on this occasion. He's gone for 1. England lose their second. They're 5 for 176. It's all happening here at Edgbaston. It's fast-paced cricket, high-octane cricket. I think we're going to be entertained. We're definitely entertained, that's for sure, on day 1 of this test match. But Australia, Hazelwood does it again. That's his second wicket of the day. And Australia coming back nicely into this test match. Stokes is gone. Good catch from Carey behind the stumps. Hazelwood picks up his second. That is the end of Ben Stokes. It was a short stay at the crease for Ben Stokes. The England captain gone. England 5 for 176. Johnny Bairstow back into the England side as the wicketkeeper at number 7. He had a bit of an injury with his leg on the golf course, but he's back into the side. He's out there with Joe Root as England are 5 for 176. How things can change quickly in this game of cricket. We've certainly seen that today. So I hope that's back to your question there, Aran. I hope that answers your question. So I think in hindsight, India would have liked to play Ashwin, but that was the decision that they made. David, you say, so that the Harry Brook wicket, does it count as bowled in the scorebook? Yes, it does, David. So Harry Brook will be out bowled in the scorebook. So I hope that answers your question there. So he will be out bowled. If he touched the ball with his hand, not holding the bat, then he would have been out obstructing the field or handling the ball. But he didn't do that, so it went back onto the stump. So he's out bowled in the scorebook. Raj says, is Nick on the stadium watching the game? He said he would be going to the UK and might be watching Ashes live at the stadium. I'm not sure, Raj. I'm not sure when he's going to the UK. I think it will be very soon. He will be trying to watch an Ashes test if he can. I'm not sure if he's left yet. I still think he's in America still, Nick, but I think he'll be going in the next few weeks, I think. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But it would be nice if Nick from Cricket for Americans can watch a test match live. It would be good, but it's going to be very hard because the Ashes, obviously, a lot of people have tickets and it's very hard to get tickets. So, but he'll try, Nick. He'll try and experience what it's like to watch an Ashes series in England. Aran says, not winning the WTC, but I still feel Australia would not have made 469 in the first innings. Yeah, it could have been different, Aran, if Ashwin was in the side. But they didn't go with him. They didn't select him, and that's probably where India went wrong there. But at the end of the day, Australia was a better team and, pretty much won the game on day 1. And they just did everything better than India. They batted, bowled, and fielded better. And, they've been the best team for the last 2 years. So here we go. Hazelwood to Bairstow. This one traps him on the pads. Good first delivery from Johnny Bairstow. From Josh Hazelwood to Bairstow. Now then, there's a discussion about a review for an LBW. I think Pat Cummins has said, no, I don't think so. Oh, he's going upstairs. It was given not out by Murray Erasmus. Let's have a look. England 5 down for 176. We all knew with Bazball it would come unstuck. They would have a few collapses, England. That's what's happened there. That one jagged back off the seam. from Hazelwood. The angle looks like it could be going down the leg side. That's why Murray Erasmus didn't give it out. Maybe clipping the stump, maybe leg stump, clipping leg stump, maybe. Let's have a look. Or maybe missing. Let's have a look. Just going over the top. Not by much. So Australia lose a review there, but at the end of the day, if you think it's out, go upstairs and review it. Nearly hit the leg stump there, so not far off from Josh Hazelwood, but a good first delivery to Bairstow. Hasn't played a lot of cricket. It'd be interesting to see how Johnny Bairstow goes in this series in terms of getting back to his best. He was very good last England summer against New Zealand, when he scored those runs. As he's off the mark, Bairstow works it onto the offside for a single. So he's off the mark. England are 5 for 177. Well, everything's happening. Australia, 2 wickets. They've gotten back into this test match. It looked a little bit dicey there for a bit, but they've gotten back into this test match with those wickets. And that's what Australia needed, to pick up wickets at regular intervals, build pressure on this England side with this new mentality, which is Bazball. It's definitely caught the cricket world by surprise. Picked up a couple of wickets. As try and get to the comments that everyone has put here. Try and catch up on that as Nathan Lyon is about to bowl to Bairstow. England 5 for 177. It's been pretty good from Australia to pick up these wickets at the key times and key moments, I should say. Nathan Lyon, 2 for 52. Can he get a third here? Can he get rid of Bairstow? He's in now to Bairstow, who drives to mid-off, and there's no run. Nathan Lyon bowling that angle. A right arm around the wicket to the right-hander in Bairstow. Raj said, yeah, but they were talking about it before the IPL. I haven't seen any of their recent videos, so I have no idea. Lyon into Bairstow. This one defended. There's no run. Raj, you say about India, about WTC. Indian team wasn't in the right mindset, just tired, injured, and uninterested. Not having best batter, best pacer, and best spinner. It was a good side, just not a winning side. Line into Bairstow, who works it through the leg side. He'll pick up a single. He was looking for 2, but just the one. Aran, you say Bazball going for a toss? Well, that's the thing with Bazball, I think. You're going to have days where it comes off, other days where it goes unstuck, and England will lose wickets in a heap. As Lyon bowls to Root, this one keeps a little bit low. Root defends. There's no run. Does well there, Root. Keep that out. That's the thing with Bazball, really. It can go 2 ways. It can be very successful on one day, and the next day it can go a little bit pear-shaped. But Australia have done well. They've done well to keep them to 5 for 170 odd at this stage. It's as they pick up another single. Joe Root moves on to 38. John, you say, I haven't heard you this excited for a while. Always get excited, John. Every time Australia get a wicket, you got to be excited. It's the Ashes. It's a big occasion, and that I think every cricket fan's like that. Exciting every time a run's scored or a wicket's taken. And that's a single to finish the over from Bairstow, who will retain the strike. It's 5 for 180. But yes, Ursa say, John, forget about the ultra edge. Look at the way the seam scrambled after it passed the bat. Yep. There was a clear spike on ultra edge there, and the Australians definitely heard something, and Ben Stokes, England captain, playing the positive way that he's instilled on this team, and he's got to go for 1. So Australia have done well to pick up 2 wickets here. The Harry Brook one was a lucky wicket. The Ben Stokes one, you would think, probably not the best shot to be playing, but that's how England play. England 5 for 180. Australia definitely working themselves back into this test match after losing the toss and bowling first on a pretty flat Edgbaston surface, you have to say. Hazlewood in now to Bairstow. Bairstow looking for a quick single down to mid-on. He'll get the single. Usman Khawaja not the quickest in the field. He'll pick up one. Raj, you say Australia outplayed them every day, and they won it. It's kudos to India for taking it to the fifth day, though not an easy feat, but they tried whatever they had in their 11. Yeah, they did, India. They showed a bit of fight in that WTC, and at the end of the day, Australia were just better in all departments and deserved their victory. Hazlewood into Root, who advances down the wicket. And he works it nicely past mid-wicket. He will race away to the boundary. It will get there for 4. A boundary for Joe Root. He moves on to 42. But Australia have taken a couple of wickets in this session, this second session of play. Gotten themselves back into this test match. And it's been good from Australia. Just finding wickets whenever they can in key moments. Taking those wickets when they need to. John, you say, I did send CFA a replica as Hazlewood's in to Root. This one on leg stump. Root works it onto the leg side again, but Nathan Lyon will cut it off at deep square leg for a couple of runs. Root moves on to 44. I did send CFA a replica. Was hoping Nick and Gabe might have a little tussle over it without mentioning me. Well, yeah, let's hope they do get the replica urn for the Ashes, of course, and probably share it around, I suppose, or whoever side wins. If Australia win, Gabe gets to keep the urn for a bit, or if England win, Nick gets to keep the urn. Sort of have their own Ashes, Nick and Gabe from Cricket for Americans. But hopefully they do receive it, John, and it's the thought that counts. Dot ball here from Hazlewood to Root. Cameron Green hasn't had a bowl today, but he's doing some stretches. I think Pat Cummins has said get warmed up. Going to come into the attack soon. Be interesting to see how Cameron Green goes about it with the ball. He's going to play a big role in this series with both bat and ball. Hazlewood in now to Root. Root defends and there's no run. Yep. Cameron Green just rolling the arm over, doing a few limbering up exercises and stretches, going through his action. So he could be coming on in the next over to replace Nathan Lyon. We'll see. Will Nathan Lyon have one more over? And then Cameron Green to come on at the next over from Nathan Lyon's end? We'll have to see at the start of the next over, whoever comes on to bowl. Hazlewood into Root, who's out of his crease. Plays it back to the bowler, and there's no run. It's into the over. 5 for 187. 5 for 187. It's exciting cricket today. We've seen it all. We've seen runs scored. We've seen wickets fall. And the Australian attack doing the best they can to try and cope with this Bazball way of playing the game from England. They've done okay. To keep them 5 down for 187, it's not a bad result. And Australia will keep taking wickets whenever they can, keep chipping away. But it's been a good start to this Ashes series. We've seen it all. Runs, wickets, as Cameron Green's into the attack. And he will be bowling his first over of the day. Cameron Green did well in the WTC final. He took a wicket. He got rid of Pujara in the first innings. Didn't really do much with the bat. He took some good catches in the field, as we know. But he's going to have a big role to play in this Ashes series. John says, exactly, Nick with his 3 lines and Gabe with his baggy green. It did land in the US safely, but I don't know if it's been collected. Well, let's hope they collect it soon, John, and hopefully they do it on a video or something, share it and mention you in one of their videos and about the urn and the replica urn. But well, Nick's obviously in the UK, so he'll probably have an opportunity to probably go to Lord's, maybe go to the museum and actually see the actual Ashes urn, which is on display. It's been there since 1927 at Lord's. As Green's in. This one a short ball. First up to Bairstow. Bairstow ducks underneath it. Through to the keeper. We haven't seen a lot of short stuff from Australia, but good from Cameron Green to start his spell with a short ball. Just reminding Johnny Bairstow that he does have that up his sleeve. It's been good from Australia today. A little bit wayward in the first session, but they've done well to come back in the second session. They've picked up wickets when needed in this session today. Green into Bairstow, who punches it to mid-off. Pat Cummins does the fielding, and there's a single. 5 for 188 England. The crowd still going into Edgbaston for day one of this Ashes test, this first Ashes test of the series. Not a big ground, Edgbaston, but it does hold a lot of people. A lot of people looking to get tickets, looking to get in and watch this first Ashes test. As Green's into Root. This one defended on the back foot by Root. There's no run. Cameron Green. Good start to his first over of the day. He bowls a heavy ball, Cameron Green. It comes on a lot quicker to the bat than you expect. So his height. Green in to Root. This one outside off stump and full and driven by Root, but straight to the fielder at cover. And there is no run. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I hope everyone's enjoying the first Ashes test. It's been an exciting start to this series thus far. We expected England to go out and play their way, play under their new mentality of baseball, and we've certainly seen that. Australia have taken some wickets up against this style of cricket. As Green's into Root, this one defended, no run. So it's been a very interesting day of cricket. But Australia have done well to keep England 5 down for 188 in 42 overs. Not a bad result, given how fast England do score. And most other sides would have struggled by now. But this Australian attack doing okay. Green in to Root, who drives to the fielder at cover for no run. It's the end of the over. It's 5 for 188. Good over from Green, just a single from it. England 5 for 188. Half the side is out. It's a fallen. Pitch has been good. It's been a flat surface. Not much pace in the wicket. Easy pace for the batters to make adjustments and score runs. John, you say short balls are too low and slow to be effective. Yeah, that's the thing. Not much pace in the surface, especially for the short balls. So Josh Hazlewood out of the attack. Pat Cummins in. The captain has decided to bring himself on and decided this is the time to strike. If we can get rid of Bairstow and Root, get him 7 down, heading into this tea break, and it's a pretty good effort from Australia. So Australia will be looking for wickets here after losing the toss, bowling first. Having England 5 down for 188 is a good result. I think Australia would have taken that this morning. Cummins in now to Bairstow. And Bairstow works it out to the fielder at deep point. Travis Head's done a lot of work out there in the deep. He'll pick up a single. Pat Cummins, none for 33. So a little bit of expensive few overs from him, Pat Cummins. But good thing from Pat Cummins, and as we noticed in the WTC final last week, no balls. So he sorted that problem out, Pat Cummins. He hasn't bowled a no ball thus far in this inning. So he sorted out the run out, which is good. Cummins in now to Root, who works it behind square. Down to Scott Boland down there at long leg. Pick up a single. England 5 for 190. Travis Head, that was the drop catch off Harry Brook. And he'll be very relieved that Harry Brook got out and didn't really make a lot of runs after that drop catch. Very unlucky dismissal by Harry Brook. One that just hit his thigh, bounced up in the air, and bounced back into his stumps off Nathan Lyon. So I think Travis Head will be blowing a sigh of relief that Harry Brook didn't make a big score today. As Cummins in now to Bairstow. This ball goes past Bairstow's outside edge, straight through to Carey, and there's no run. Bairstow 6 off 11, Root of 45 of 72. England 5 for 190 into the 43rd over of the innings. Australia, they'll be pretty happy with their work thus far, keeping England 5 for 190, picking up wickets when they needed to. They've certainly done that in this session, picking up a couple of wickets, a couple of key wickets. Cummins into Bairstow. This one defended by Bairstow to mid-off, and there's no run. Nice crowd in at Edgbaston. Nice and sunny as well. Enjoying the summer sun in England. No rain forecast for the next few days, which is good. So not going to be worrying about the weather and the rain. Cummins into Bairstow. Bairstow defends this one onto the leg side. There's no run. Pat Cummins, none for 34. Last ball of his 8th over. Steve Smith. He had a wonderful test match here a couple of years ago. Picked up back-to-back centuries in Australia's win here at Edgbaston in 2019. He'll be hoping to do the same on a surface that is quite flat. Not much assistance for the bowlers as Cummins in now to Bairstow. This one full and Bairstow defends to the fielder at mid-on. And there's no run. It's the end of the over. It's 5 for 190. Couple of runs in that over for England. 5 for 190 after 43 overs. John, you say barely a foot mark in the pitch. Yeah, it's quite an abrasive surface, so not much signs of wear and tear. There was quite a nice layering of grass on the surface from what I heard. A lot of it, not live grass. It's pretty much, dead grass, really. So it's a wicket that England wanted to suit their style of play with Bazball, and it's a pretty unresponsive sort of wicket, really. Nothing much off the surface in terms of seam. Not much swing. But England find themselves 5 for 190 as Green's in. This one a top edge from Root. He will go down to the third man boundary for 4. He races to 49. And Joe Root keeps scoring runs in his illustrious career. Well, this one outside off stump and a bit short, and Root was able just to help it on its way, get that top edge down to third man for 4 runs. Green into Root. This one driven through the offside for a single, and that will be Joe Root's half century. The second half century today for England. Zach Crawley was the first half-centurion. And now Joe Root, he's 59th half-century in Test cricket. That's a lot of half-centuries for Joe Root. 59 in Test cricket now. He's got 29 centuries. So the conversion rate, not the best, but Joe Root always scoring runs for England. John says he's a class act. He is. He's a very good player, Joe Root. So Australia will want to get him out as soon as possible. As Green's into Bairstow, who punches this off the back foot to the fielder at cover. There's no run. Marnus Labuschagne doing the fielding there. Always scores runs, Joe Root. 11,000 test runs, tick over 50. It's a no ball there from Cameron Green, so he has to re-bowl that one again. Just overstepping. And that's the first no ball for Australia in this innings. They bowled quite a few last week in the WTC final, mainly from Pat Cummins. Green into Bairstow. This one outside off stump. Bairstow swings and misses at this one. Wanted to get a piece of that. Unfortunately, couldn't connect. There's no run. Well, his eyes lit up there, Bairstow. Was short and wide outside off stump. He just flashed his hands at that. You're going to see a lot of that from the England batters. They're going to flash their hands at it. Not going to leave too many deliveries. So they're pretty much going to do that. Green into Bairstow. This one driven through the covers for 4. Will bring up the 200 for England. They're 5 for 200. Bairstow moves on to 10. Root on 50. Now Bairstow executed this shot a little bit better. Outside off stump from Green. He was on the front foot. Nicely driven through that cover region. And that was a better shot from Bairstow, unlike the last shot. Green in now to Bairstow. This one worked off his pads, behind square on the leg side for a single. John, you say this series might come down to Root and Smith. They're the glue for both sides, in my opinion. Yeah, definitely two very important batters. I did mention that in my preview that we released yesterday, that Joe Root definitely holds this batting lineup together for England. So if England do have a collapse under this new mentality of Bazball, he does hold it together. And it's that one constant in the batting order that holds things together. So it's the same with Steve Smith with Australia as well. That one's defended by Root for no run. It's the end of the over. It's 5 for 201. Five for 201. 44 overs have been bowled. And for Australia, I think they'll be quite happy with how things have panned out at the moment. 5 for 201 is not bad. So if they can pick up another couple of wickets here before tea, 7 down for 200 run sounds a little bit better. But the way that Bairstow was flashing at those balls off Cameron Green in the last over, you would think it could happen quickly. But they do bat deep, England. Moeen Ali coming in at number 8. He's next in, and then Broad, Robinson, and Anderson. They can all swing the bat a little bit there. Cummins in now to Bairstow, who defends, and there's no run. That one came back in to Bairstow. Did well to defend that with a straight bat. There's no run. He's off 11 off 19, Bairstow. Hasn't played a lot of cricket. Be interesting to see how he goes. David, you say, I hear Smith and Warner are banned from home improvement stores in England. Yeah. They probably are. As Cummins in now to Bairstow. Defends this one. There's no run. John says, all out for 200 sounds better. Well, it does. Well, they won't quite get all out for 201. But if Australia can pick up a couple of more wickets here, 7 down, get into the tail before tea, that will be good. But I think Australia's done okay. It was a little bit of frenetic first session. But in this second session, the runs have come, but not at the fast pace as we expect from England in the past. So Australia have done okay in terms of keeping the tempo down from England. Cummins in to Bairstow. This one flashed by Bairstow outside off stump. Works it to deep backward point for 1. Australia will be looking to pick up wickets, continue getting the wickets here and looking to put pressure on England. I don't think that will make any difference to England's mentality. They'll keep going hard, as they always do. Joe Root on 50. Off 75. Cummins in to Root. This one banged in short by Cummins. Down the leg side, Root was able to leave that comfortably. Through to the keeper, no run. Pat Cummins. In again to Root. He's past the umpire in. This one chopped down by Root. Nearly went back onto his stumps, but unlike Harry Brook, didn't go back onto his stumps. There's no run. Steve Smith is going to have a big role to play in this series, you would think. He's going to have a big role to play in this test match. His record in England is very good, averaging 69. Moeen Ali, the next batter in, got his pads, got his bat ready, came out of retirement to play in this Ashes series, of course. Obviously, Jack Leach going down. So England needed a spinner. And that's why Moeen Ali's back into the side. Got a bit of a delay behind the side screen. I believe one of the security guards just walking in front of the side screen. Joe Root wasn't happy about that before he faced up to Pat Cummins. Now he's ready. Ready to face up to Cummins, who's in now to Root. This one traps him on the pads. There's an appeal for LBW. Cummins is convinced. He was excited for a bit there, Pat Cummins, but he thinks that's probably going down leg. There's no run to end the over. End of the over, 5 for 202. Pat Cummins trapped Joe Root on the pads there, but probably going down the leg side there. Pat Cummins was gesturing that to Steve Smith. And they decided not to review that, which was probably the right choice at the end of the day. But nonetheless, good finish from Pat Cummins to end the over. England 5 for 202. Just having a look at that LBW. Just missing. Just going over the top of the stumps. So just going over the top of the stumps there. Cameron Green. Going to continue now. He's going to be bowling to Johnny Bairstow, who's on 12 of 21. Joe Root's on 50. So here we go. Green now to Bairstow. This one a short ball from Green. Bairstow sways out of the way. Lets it through to the keeper, and there's no run. Another no ball from Cameron Green. That's the second no ball for Australia today. Pat Cummins had a few problems last week in the WTC final with no balls, but this week he's rectified that. It's been Cameron Green who's been overstriding today. He's bowled the first two balls. First 2 no balls, I should say, that Australia have had in this innings thus far. So an extra run, extra delivery. Green in now to Bairstow. This one beats him. Past his outside edge. Good delivery from Green. Be interesting to see how Johnny Bairstow goes. Hasn't played a lot of cricket, as I mentioned before. Coming back from injury. He's got the gloves. So it'd be interesting to see how he pulls up physically over the 5 test matches, of course. Keeping wickets, not an easy thing, especially for 5 test matches back to back to back to back. Not an easy thing to do. As Green's in now to Bairstow. This one traps him on the pads. This one just trickling out to the leg side for no run. That was going down the leg side anyway, so no problems there for Bairstow in terms of an LBW. That one was just angling down leg. Cameron Green. Good start to his over here. Steve Smith practicing his golf shot. His golf swing, I should say. Green in. This one, a short ball. Didn't quite get up. Bairstow was able to work it behind square on the leg side. Marcus Harris, the sub fielder, comes on. Cuts it off for a couple of runs. Marcus Harris on as the sub fielder. I don't know who's off for Australia, but he's on the field, Marcus Harris. Green in now to Bairstow. This one short, outside off stump. It'll race away to the deep backward. It'll race away to that third man boundary for 4. Bairstow picks up another boundary to his tally. 18 now he's on. And England 5 for 209. They're still going hard. Australia just hoping to pick up another couple of wickets or so before the tea break. But I think they'll be very happy, Australia, to have England 5 down for 200 odd. After losing the toss on day 1, I think they'll take that, Australia. Green in again to Bairstow. Bairstow defends this back of a length delivery from Green for no run. 18 off 27, Bairstow. Joe Root's doing his own thing. 50 he's on. Cameron Green, none for 19. Last ball of his third over. In now to Bairstow. So Green ready now. Last ball of his over. He's in now to Bairstow. And Bairstow defends to mid-on, and there's no run. And the over 5 for 209. 5 for 209. After 46 overs, I think by the way that England go about things with baseball, it's definitely not a fast-paced innings from England. Runs have been scored at a regular interval, but not at the pace as we know it with England over the years with baseball. They usually score a little bit quicker, a little bit faster as well. But Australia have done well. 5 for 200 odd. A couple of wickets in this second session has definitely helped Australia. Partnership 33 with Root and Bairstow. 46 overs have been bowled. Pat Cummins to continue. Cummins in now to Root, who defends, and there's no run. No run there. 50 off 79. Root, 18 off 28 for Johnny Bairstow. Pat Cummins. Can the skipper get a wicket here? Hasn't got one yet. Can he get his first of this over? Get rid of the big wicket of Root here. Cummins in now to Root. Works it behind square, down to find leg for 1. I think Pat Cummins will be happy about where Australia are placed in this game in terms of this bowling performance. 5 for 210. They'll be very happy about that. They would have taken that at the start of the day, Australia, given that they lost the toss and obviously against England with this Bazball mentality. We've certainly taken it at the start of the day. Cummins now, he'll have an opportunity to Bairstow. He's in now. Bairstow plays it back to Cummins and there's no run. John, you say line and length. Now, boys, niggle them out. Yeah, that's what they've done here. They've been bowling good line and length. A few boundaries have been scored, but that's okay if you can get it back onto that line and length, build the pressure. And that's the thing. It's all about building pressure, dot balls, building that pressure. The wicket will come. They will create chances, England. So you have to be ready for those opportunities. As Cummins in now to Bairstow. Bairstow defends on the front foot. There's no run. So it's been good. Solid stuff from Australia. Line length. Just making sure that we build pressure. Already Bairstow, 18 off 30. Root, 51 off 80, doing his own thing. England, 5 for 210. Not a bad position for Australia to have half the side out on day one. And that's what we sort of expected with Bazball, that, wickets will tumble, but it's going to be very entertaining, that's for sure. Cummins into Bairstow, this one full, driven to mid-off, and there's no run. But Pat Cummins, he sorted out the problems with the no balls. In the WTC final last week, bowled a lot of no balls, but he sorted that problem out today. He hasn't bowled a no ball today, which is good. So he sorted out that problem in the nets and at training. Cummins in now to Bairstow. Bairstow works it through square leg for a single to end the over. It's 5 for 211. Couple of runs off that over from Pat Cummins. 5 for 211. 47 overs. Five for 211. The Australian bowlers, a couple of wickets in this session. Wickets to fall were Brook and the captain Stokes. Harry Brook to a very unlucky dismissal off Nathan Lyon. A ball that hit his thigh guard, went up in the air, bounced back onto his stumps. And Ben Stokes just driving at a ball outside off stump that got his outside edge. Those are the two wickets to have fallen. Johnny Bairstow has come in with Joe Root, added a handy partnership, which has seen him score 19 and Root 51, going about their business in this first innings for England. Australia will be hoping for another couple of wickets here. Get into the tail as soon as they can, but the next wicket, next batter in, I should say, is Mona Ali. He can hold the bats. Coming back after retirement for this series. Filling in for Jack Leach, who was ruled out with injury. Yes, it was, John. Yes, it was. You are correct about that. It was Ben Duckett as lines in down to Bairstow. Around the wicket to the right-hander in Bairstow, and there's no run. Yes, it was, John. It was Ben Duckett. It's quite an interesting stat. It's a test match opener. Only facing 700 balls, but only leaving 8 of them. It just shows this new mentality that England have employed. So that was quite an interesting stat. He was the first wicket to fall today. Tried to glide one down to third man. Got an outside edge straight through to Carey off Hazelwood. And that was the first wicket of the morning. Nathan Lyon picked up a couple of wickets. Ollie Pope, LBW, and Harry Brook out bowled in an unusual fashion. Line in now to Bairstow. He sweeps. There is protection out there at deep square leg. He'll pick up a single. Right, that's just the way England have gone with their new mentality, really, and it shows. Oh, that one hit Marnus Labuschagne at short leg. Hit him on the leg. That's got to hurt, but Marnus ready again for the next ball that will come his way. Very difficult position to field at short leg. You're either going to be good in that position. Not everyone wants to field at short leg because it's one place that you don't really want to field, really. Line now into root. Works it onto the offside for a single. It's no run. England 5 for 213. So Australia will be hoping a couple more wickets here before the tea break, which is soon approaching. Yes, it is, John. A very unusual stat. It just shows their mentality, really. They don't leave too many deliveries, that's for sure. Line into Bairstow. This one defended. There's no run. David, you say, how long until tea? I'm not sure, David. I have to look that up. Bear with me. Let's see. That one defended again by Bairstow. There's no run. So, I'm not sure, David, to answer your question there. I'm not sure how long until tea. Usually does tell you on ESPN Cricket Info. As Bairstow dispatches line. Last ball of the over for 4. Over mid-off's head for 4 runs to end the over. It's the end of the over. It's 5 for 217. Australia just be hoping they can pick up a wicket or two here before tea on day 1. So we've got around about 42 overs left in the day's play. So the ideal situation for Australia is that bowl England out as soon as they can, get in there and start batting. That will be the aim for Australia today. Get the 5 wickets they need, wrap it up. England are definitely going to play their shots. They're going to get a move on. And if they get bowled out for 250 or something like that, then so be it. But that's just the way they play under this new mindset and mentality. Scott Boland replaces Pat Cummins. He's bowled really well today, Scott Boland. This partnership between Bairstow and Roots, 41. Couple of 50 partnerships for England already. So this one nearly approaching the half-century mark. That's Scott Boland. Can he get rid of Joe Root? He's in now to Root. This one traps him on the pads. It trickles out to the leg side. It's no run. So a breakdown of England's scoring. They've scored 22 boundaries, which is no surprise, 19 twos, 81 singles, and 163 dot balls. As Boland's in to Root, this one uppish to Khawaja at mid-on. Just falls safe and there's no run. John says about 18 minutes to tea. Yes, probably. The timings are a little bit different. Obviously, the WTC final was a little bit different in terms of the timings. And now for this Ashes series, the different times as well. As Boland's into Root. Root defends this one. There's no run. That one came back in. John says time zones are tricky. Yeah, they are. Trying to get your head around different time zones and different times. Definitely hard when you're watching cricket, that's for sure. Marnus Labuschagne. He's going to have a big role to play in this series with the bat as Boland's in now to Root. Advances down the wicket. Good fielding from Cameron Green in the gully. Root was looking for a single, but Cameron Green has denied him that opportunity. And it's a dot ball. Good stuff from Cameron Green. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll be here for the remainder of the second session. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I hope everyone's well. Hope everyone's enjoying this first Ashes test. It's been exciting. It's been interesting. It's been a very interesting couple of sessions as Boland's in now to Root. This one worked down to fine leg, and he'll pick up a boundary Root. Scott Boland just getting on the pads there a little bit. 4 runs for Joe Root. Moves on to 56. England 5 for 221. Just on leg stump there, Root was able to get inside the line, work it down to fine leg, pick up 4 runs. Fine leg was square. Well, actually, Australia didn't have a fine leg, actually. Boland in now to Root. Pushes this onto the offside for a single to end the over. It's the end of the over, 5 for 222. Five for 222. Now, a bit of an interesting stat, as we know with Bazball, but Bazball, this positivity is not really a new thing in cricket, really. It's been happening for years, this positive intent, but maybe something that many people haven't probably known is that the mighty Invincibles of 1948, the great team led by Don Bradman that toured England in 1948, didn't lose a single test match or a tour match or a first-class match on that tour. As lines into Root, this one, Root plays it to square leg for no run. They played their own version of Bazball in 1948. They scored 721 runs in a single day against Essex in one of their first-class matches on that tour. A very interesting stat, that's for sure. Line into Root. This one traps him on the pads. There's an appeal for LBW. Lyon looked pretty animated about that. Now then, whether or not it was pitching in line, impact was in line or hitting the wickets. Pat Cummins decided not to review that. But good delivery from Nathan Lyon. That's how he got Ollie Pope out. One that just goes straight on. Let's have a look. Yeah, probably just missing that leg stump. But he was in front of his stumps there, Root, but just probably missing the leg stump. Line into Root, plays the reverse sweep. Josh Hazlewood will have to do some work in the field. Can't cut that off with a dive. It'll be 4 runs. Picks up another boundary, Joe Root. Moves on to 57. 5 for 226 for England. Yep, that's right, John. It's just about 12 o'clock here. So, yep. So 30 minutes behind and you're 30 minutes ahead. So as it is on the eastern states in Australia, I'm from the south. So now then, Lyon to Root. He's out. It's hit him on the pad. He went for the reverse sweep. Asan Rasan raised his finger. He was confident about that decision. Root will go down to Bairstow to review it. Joe Root's reviewed it straight away. Whether or not he's hit it or not is another question. Let's have a look. Azan Raza raised his finger quickly. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a pretty poor decision, I think. Clearly came off the glove. And Joe Root knew that straight away. He reviewed it. So that's why we have the DRS. For a moment there, Australia thought they got Joe Root. Ball is very close to the glove, and probably obvious that it did come off the glove, and it did. There's a spike as the ball touches the gloves. So Azan Razan, the umpire gave that out, and he has to overturn his decision. But a good delivery from Lyon, challenging Joe Root there. Another reverse sweep played by Root. This one down to third man for a single. Or a boundary, I think. Yeah, sorry, it was a boundary. Yep, boundary there. Moves on to 65. Root, England, 5 for 230. Line in now to Root. Defends onto the onside. There's no run. It's the end of the over, 5 for 230. Nathan Lyon nearly had Joe Root there in that over LBW. But the umpire, Azan Razan, had to overturn his decision. It came off the gloves for that LBW. So Joe Root knew that he wasn't out there. And he was fairly confident of that review. But nonetheless, Australia picked up a couple of wickets here. England 5 for 230. So I think Australia will be very happy with their progress. I think England will be a little bit disappointed that they should have been, a few runs ahead at this stage in terms of their run scoring. I think Australia will be very happy to have half the side out for 230, I should say. So Australia will be happy to get half of the England side out at this stage. As Scott Boland continues to Bairstow, who's on 24. And Bairstow works behind square. Down to fine leg for a couple of runs. And the 50 partnership as well between Bairstow and Root come off 71 balls as partnership. 50. Australia picking up 2 wickets in this second session of Brook and Stokes. Bairstow Boland in to Bairstow. This one defended to mid-on. There's no run. 50 partnership between Root and Bairstow for the 6th wicket. So 3 50-run partnerships for England in this innings thus far. But I think the main thing for Australia is about taking these wickets, continue to take these wickets if they can. And if they can do that, they can definitely have England out. Bowling into Bairstow. This one an outside edge pass. Cameron Green in the gully. He was outstretched, Cameron Green, but it's 4 runs. Just out of reach of Cameron Green. He's taken some brilliant catches in the gully over his career thus far. We saw that last week in the WTC final. Scott Boland nearly picking up another wicket there. Just out of reach of Cameron Green. A little bit too far for him to get a hand on that. But if there's one person that's going to catch that, it's probably Cameron Green. A boundary, another boundary for England. These boundaries are adding to their total. Bairstow now 30 or 40. 5 for 236 as Boland's in again to Bairstow. And Bairstow works it out on to the leg side. He'll pick up a couple. I think Australia will be aiming for a wicket or 2 here before tea. 5 for 238's not bad. I think Pat Cummins will be happy about that result. Could have been a lot worse, given how England have been scoring at a fast rate over the last few months. Bolam into Bairstow. Bairstow defends onto the offside. There's no run. John, you say Erasmus is having a shocker. Well, if you're referring to the last LBW there, John, it wasn't a Murray Erasmus. It was Azan Razan who gave that LBW out to Joe Root, which came off his gloves. So a couple of mistakes from the umpires, but that's why we had the DRS, and those decisions were overturned. And the right decisions were made at the end of the day. Boland into Bairstow, defends back to Bairstow. Back to Boland. End of the over, 5 for 238. 51 overs have been bowled. But obviously, John, if Nick or Gabe we hear from Cricket for Americans, I think they'll be probably sharing their frustrations at the decisions that the umpires have made thus far in this test match in terms of the Murray Erasmus one and the Azan Razan one. But that's why we have the DRS to rectify those mistakes. But it is a very tough job. Being an umpire, very tough. Not an easy job. Standing out there in the middle, giving decisions every ball. A line in now to Root. Defends to short leg. There's no run. Nathan Lyon. Quality as always. He'll be hoping to pick up another wicket here. He's already picked up 2 of the 5. That was Pope and Brooke. Pope, LBW, Brooke bowled in the most unusual circumstances. Line in now to Root, who defends to Cameron Green on the leg side. No run. Moeen Ali. Got the pads on. He's next in. Line into Root. Root defends back to Line for no run. $65. Joe Root's on. Line in now to Root, who works it off his pads through the leg side. He'll pick up a single to deep to Travis Head out there in the deep on the leg side for 1. 5 for 239, England. 52 overs in now. So they've definitely scored at a good clip. But they have lost some wickets in the process. Australia have done well. They've done okay to just slow the tempo a little bit from Bazball. Nathan Lyon, 2 for 70 into his 16th over. He's got 2 balls left. He's in now to Bairstow, who defends on the front foot. It's no run. Lyon in now for his last ball to Bairstow. This one on the leg stump, down to fine leg for a single. Instead of the over, 5 for 240. 5 for 240. And that will be T. So England 5 for 240 at T. 52 overs are done. And Australia will be very happy to pick up a couple of wickets in that session. They'll be hoping to pick up a few more wickets after the tea break. So there we go. That's how this second session has panned out. Pat Cummins will be pleased. England will be pleased in some sort of way, but they would have expected a lot more runs at this stage by their standards, if we have to be critical. But Ben Stokes applauding, so he's not too phased, as always. Joe Root, exceptional, as always, scoring runs all the time, Joe Root. So that is T on day one. We'll have a bit of a recap of how that second session went. Australia would be pleased with the 2 wickets, and to have England 5 down at this stage could have been a lot worse at the start of the day. So not a bad result, you have to say, for the Australians. John, you say it's rigged, but he's Buckner under the hat. I could see it unfold. Yeah, probably Gabe will be saying that if he was here. But we'll have a quick recap of the session. And Australia picked up 3 wickets in that, a couple of wickets in that session today. So the second session of play, Australia picked up a couple of wickets. Joe Root, Harry Brook added 50 for the 4th wicket partnership. And then obviously Harry Brook was out to an unusual way off Nathan Lyon, a ball that hit his fire guard, bounced up, and then back onto the stumps. He was gone. And then the captain, Ben Stokes, came out, and he flashed at a ball outside off stump, and he was gone for 1. And then Johnny Bairstow has come in, added 50 for the 6th wicket with Joe Root, who's going well, 60-odd not out at T. So that's pretty much what's happened in the second session. So you'll have to say that Australia would be pleased with those couple of wickets in that session. Pick up a couple of wickets, which they did. Some lucky wickets at times as well. But they'll be very happy to pick up a couple of wickets, Australia, in that session. So there we go. That's how the second session went on day one of this first Ashes test between England and Australia from Edgbaston. So England 5 for 240 at T, 52 overs. Joe Root, Johnny Bairstow there, looking to carry on after T. For Australia, after losing the toss, I think they'll be quite content with where the game is at the moment. They've definitely taken some wickets to come back into this match. 5 for 240, 52 overs. They'll be happy with the bowling effort in this match thus far, especially in the second session. They'll be hoping to pick up the last 5 wickets probably in the last session today. So pick up a couple of wickets after T, get into the tail. That will be the plan for Australia. Get into the tail as quickly as possible. But they'll first have to remove Joe Root and then Johnny Bairstow to do that, and then get into the tail and put them under some sort of pressure. But there we go. So that's T on day one of this first Ashes test. And it's been exciting. I think a lot of people can say that. It's been exciting. It's been entertaining cricket. And definitely the big question was, will the Australian bowlers handle Bazball? It was a little bit frenetic in that first session, but Australia managed to pick up wickets. The second session, they were able to bowl some line and length and keep England's tempo down a bit, which is the important thing. So 5 for 240 at T on day one, and Australia will be hoping for more wickets after T, and hoping to bowl England out for maybe just over 300 or something, which is not a bad result, given that Australia lost the toss and are bowling first. So not a bad start to this Ashes series as we anticipated. Alrighty then, as the tea break happens, that will do us for our live stream today. Thanks everyone for joining us for the last couple of hours for this second session. It's been quite an interesting start to this Ashes series. So thanks everyone for joining us for this second session. We will be back. We'll be back in another couple of days. So day 3, that's when we're going to be coming back for our next Ashes stream. And then a reminder as well, we are going to stream the women's Ashes test. So the women's Ashes test, we're going to be streaming that. That's going to be next week after this first men's Ashes test. Do join us for that as the England women's team and the Australian women's team get ready for the women's Ashes, of course. So we will be back. Day 3 will be our next live stream. As John, you say, time for a quick Bond knocks. Pretty even so far on a lifeless pitch. Be interesting to see how the lack of screwing affects England's bowling. Well, it'll be interesting, John. It'll be interesting last session coming up. Australia will be looking for another couple of wickets, that's for sure. And get into the tail as quickly as possible. If Australia can get rid of Root and Johnny Bairstow after this tea break, get into the tail, that'll be a good result for Australia. But it's been an even first day thus far. Australia have done well to keep England to 5 for 240. I think that's a very good result after losing the toss. And that was the big question about handling Bazball. How will Australia go about it? Well, we've already answered those questions today. And it's been a very phonetic start to this Ashes series, that's for sure. Thank you, David. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you back for our next live stream, which will be on day 3 of this first Ashes test. So that's the plan for the remainder of the series, is to do 2 days of the test match. So we'll definitely be back for day 3. But thanks, everyone, for joining us for the last couple of hours for session number 2 of this first Ashes test between England and Australia from Edgbaston. A reminder, England 5 for 240 at tea. Joe Root, Johnny Bairstow, not out at the moment for England, and the Australian bowlers have done well taking these 5 wickets. So all to play for in the last session of the day. John, you say Swing Shring is an old Wayne's World movie reference. Well, thank you for that, John. I was quite unsure about that. To be honest, I haven't seen Wayne's World. I did see a bit of it when I was on TV once, but yeah, I haven't seen the movie in full. So thanks for that information there, John. I was quite unsure what you meant there. But Australia definitely being tested on day 1 of this first Ashes test, that's for sure, with the way that England are playing with the mentality of Bazball. But as we said, it's been a pretty even session. It's been an interesting session thus far. Interesting first 2 sessions of this first test. Alrighty then. Thanks everyone for joining us. As I said before, we will be back for day 3. So make sure you subscribe, click the bell, so you don't miss out on our live stream on day 3 of this first test. And also the women's Ashes test, which would be next week. We're going to be live streaming that as well, covering the women's Ashes and seeing how the Australian women's team go about that women's test next week against the England women's team, as both teams gear up for the women's Ashes. So do join us for those streams in the coming days. John, you say I'm showing my age. Yeah, well, it is quite an old movie. But thanks for that reference there, John, for that information. You always learn something new every day. So before we go, everyone, what do you think is going to happen in this last session? How do you think the session's going to go? How would you see both teams approaching this session? So do let us know in the chat before we sign off as we get ready for the third session. But what do you think is going to happen in this last session? Do you think Australia is going to pick up the last 5 wickets? Do you think England are going to continue on their merry way and score a lot of runs in this last session? Anything could happen. But I think Australia at tea would be will be quite pleased with their efforts. 5 for 240 odd. Not a bad result after losing the toss. Pretty good on a day one sort of pitch here at Edgbaston, which is not offering much. Quite flat, as we've seen thus far. But the Australian bowlers have managed to pick up wickets. They've had a bit of luck along the way. The dismissal of Harry Brook was an example of that luck, and they were able to capitalise on that opportunity. All righty then. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Make sure you do join us for day 3, and we hope to see you back there on day 3. So make sure you subscribe to the channel on our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live stream for day number 3 of this first Ashes test. It's sure to be an interesting test match. It's already started in an interesting sort of way. And it's going to be a very interesting last session of play. But thanks, everyone, for joining. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now. Oh, we'll get to your comment here, John, before we sign off. You say, John, I can see us bowling the Poms out in the last session. Think it will be some gritty cricket. Let's hope so. If they pick up a couple of wickets, they're into the tail. So 7 for 240 sounds a bit better than 5 for 240. But I think Australia will definitely be happy with their progress today. It's been a very good start to this test match. So hopefully they can get the job done, John, in this last session and probably get out there and start batting and begin the first innings for them. So let's hope they can do that. But it's going to be an interesting last session nonetheless, and it's been an interesting day as well. But thank you for that, John. If we don't have any more comments in the comments section, we'll sign off, and we'll see you back here on day 3 to join us for day 3 of this first Ashes test. All righty then. Thanks, everyone. We'll sign off now, and we'll see you back here on day 3. Do join us for that. It's sure to be an exciting day of cricket. So do join us for day 3 for our live stream, and it's going to be great fun again. Thank you, John. We'll see you back hopefully for day 3 if you're going to join us. Sadaf, thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time. And we'll definitely be back for day 3 of this test. Join us then. Until next time, keep safe, and bye for now.